Hi everyone. It's been a while since our last video because a lot of the work lately has been either very repetitive or just too detailed and not ideal to time lapse. But I collected the highlights here so you can see the progress we've made in the past month. I spent many hours patching and mudding drywall upstairs, and during that process, I found an old patch that was stuffed with foam to keep the door handle from banging another hole into the drywall. I guess that's one way to do it. A door stop might have been more effective, but I see the creativity. Here I am trimming the foam out of the window gaps to give us better efficiency on the windows. Next, I removed all the cracked sections of drywall and removed pop nails. Then I started my first of many coats of mud, followed by sanding all the patches smooth. You can see here the first coat of mud is on, and after this I did about 2 to 3 more coats. Here's a little satisfying cleanup clip because at this point I was over the drywall patchwork and I needed a mental break. Meanwhile, Jake was downstairs removing the old laundry room plumbing lines, so we'll have an uninterrupted surface to lay our flooring on top of. He decided to remove all of the old copper pipes and replace everything with PEX. Here's a little shower he took in the powder room as he was cutting out the old pipes. A closer look at our new powder room. So the reason we're replacing everything with PEX is because the house never had a water treatment system, so all of the old pipes were filled with hard water buildup, which was making the water pressure weaker. And Jake also wanted to upsize the main pipes from 1/2 inch to 3/4 to additionally increase the overall water pressure. Here he is moving the old wiring to make room for a new door opening and framing in the door opening. Someone suggested a pocket door here, which would have been a good way to keep the door out of the hallway, but unfortunately we have the main drain line in the way. And during copper pipe removal one weeknight, Jake found an abandoned wasp nest hiding above the kitchen. He thinks that the mice took over when the wasps left. So it was pretty nasty, as you can imagine. Trina and Chris came for the weekend to help out and got right to work screwing down the subfloors upstairs to remove all the squeaks. While they were working on this, I was finishing up sanding all of my drywall patches. And here we started priming the back bedrooms. Another cameo appearance. Hi, Michaela. Just a few clips here of more copper pipe removal and the new PEX replacement lines Jake was putting in. The next weekend, Trina and Chris came back for another round of painting, and Dad and Angelina also came to help. Jake and Dad bought joists and installed them in the basement ceiling to support the dining room floor and prepare to install our beam on the first floor. There'll be more on that later. Upstairs, we were continuing to sand, paint, and screw down floors. We decided to go with white paint in all of the rooms to brighten everything up and for efficiency. We might add color down the road, but for now we wanted a nice blank slate. We ended up using 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of our final paint. Meanwhile, the downstairs team tore down the old popcorn ceiling in the dining room and started building the new temporary wall to support the load of the house, while the new beam was going in. At this point, our old load-bearing wall was finally ready to come down. Now, unfortunately, I was on a pizza pickup run when they put this beam in, and they remembered too late to record that process. But I do have a reenactment video that they took for your enjoyment. Then they were able to take the temporary wall out, and we have our beautiful open living room and dining room space. A big thank you to our team for all the hard work on this project. I think it turned out amazing and we're so happy with it. Now we'll have all this beautiful light coming through the front windows into the back of the house. And here's a little update on the second floor painting. At this point, every room was at least primed, and we have the 2 back rooms pretty much finished with all of our final paint coats. So while we were all upstairs painting, Jake and my dad were removing the landing from the bottom of the steps so we won't have to step up and step back down when we walk through the garage to the rest of the house. Super excited about that change too. Later the next week, I decided to paint the bathrooms too because they were just looking so sad compared to the rest of the fresh paint. Another weekend and more painting. Shout out to Mama Janet, thank you for all the help. While we were upstairs painting, Jake was removing the old powder room toilet plumbing and installing it in the new location. He recruited Mama Janet to help cement the toilet flange. Quick little second floor update. At this point the painting was pretty much finished. I just needed one more coat in a few of the rooms. And I promise this is the last wall and ceiling painting video I will show. At least for the upstairs. And lastly, a little something different, because we had a beautiful day and the front garden desperately needed a clean out. And before we end this video, I just want to take a moment of silence for our mailbox, who was hit by a snowplow and never fully recovered from the trauma. He was found dead on March 20th, 2026. Thanks for watching, and thank you again to our amazing and generous family for sharing their time and talent with us. We would not be at this point without their help. See you next time.